Frack on. We're back for our next top five list. This time we're doing. Besides, we all work in the movie industry or entertainment industry, public access. Sarah and I. CJ now went to film school. Take a shot. Don't forget the drinking game. So we're gonna do a list of our top five regular movies, no comic books, but they could be genre. And we have again five lists. Who wants to start first with their list?
Well, I can do my number five.
All right, let's go with that, Sarah.
My number five is Moana.
Okay, that's a good one.
I absolutely love this movie. It's a Disney princess movie where her goal is not to fall in love with anyone. And again, I always get hooked by pretty movies. This is a very pretty movie. And the soundtrack is probably one of the best Disney soundtracks I've ever and The Rock is in it, so I mean you can't go wrong. It's just I watched it, and I watched it because it was, everyone's like, oh my god, this is so good, and I had very low expectations. I'm like, oh, this is like an animated kids movie, and it's gonna be like the same as all these other animated kids movies, and I ended up just loving it. It was so fun. The characters are really great, and as I said, it's a Disney. She is a princess, but her goal is to save everyone. Like she is the superhero kind of the movie, and it was refreshing to get that from Disney.
I am surprised I liked it as much as I did. I'm like, I'm surprised I really liked that movie. I saw that a couple of times when I was on Netflix. I'm like, this is a really, really good movie. What year did they come out again? Do you remember? It was
like 2016, 2017.
I think so, yeah. And then Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Maui singing "You're Welcome."
It's adorable. Well, it's nice to see that humans never change. Open your eyes, let's begin. Yes, it's really me, it's Maui, breathe it in. I know it's a lot, the hair, the bod. When you're staring at a demigod, what can I say except you're welcome? For the tides, the sun, the sky. Hey, it's okay, you're welcome.
So right now, if you want to Google The Rock sings to his daughter, he's been singing Maui songs to his daughter to prove that he is Maui, and she doesn't believe him that he is Maui. So it's one of the cutest things I've ever seen.
Can you hear what The Rock is singing? I did that. All right. So that came out 2016 already.
Yeah.
Okay. CJ, what's your number five?
All right. My number five. Don't hate me, Renee.
I don't hate you.
But yes, don't hate me, buddy. But my number five. I like with this list. I don't know. Well, we say sometimes. Listen, we went to film school. Take a shot. I know what a good movie is. You know what I mean? Like I know what a good movie is, and I can usually tell it by the trailer too. Like this is gonna be a good movie. This is, you know what I mean? I'm a layman. I don't really like good movies. I like movies that are awesome. You know what I mean? Like. I could put that in more complicated terms, yes, but
as long as that comic book, let's see what is your movie.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, listen, but anyways, so what I say all that just to say, you know what I mean? I rated this. I have this list as based on how much fun I had at the theater, or what I enjoyed. So, anyways, this number is Star Trek Into Darkness. Just seeing your face there, yes. All right. I know. I just personally happen to know that Renee hates this movie.
For one reason, for one character only. Because it would be fine if it wasn't for this one character.
Listen, the bad guy in Star Trek Into Darkness is Khan.
To conceal my true identity, my name is Khan.
All right. Now, he's played by the very charismatic Benedict, however you pronounce his last name. Cumberbatch,
I think
AKA Sherlock Holmes.
Good old BC. Who's a real life freaking hero. Did you guys read that story?
No, what do you do?
he ends up like somebody's getting mugged on the street, and
I did see that. Yeah.
like freaking saves the stop, helps them like get their wallet back or whatever. Like, are you kidding? Anyways, no, yeah, I love Star Trek Into the Darkness. To me, it was so fun. I really liked the first one a lot too, the first Star Trek movie. But I had some issues with the villain and the whole like time travel like thing, and certain issues that I felt like part 2 ironed out for me. So to me, part 2 was a more enjoyable story. I like the predicament they put the crew in, and it's one that we kind of seen before, the shows, but there have been several shows, and the shows have been out for a while. But like, it was in a way that I felt like we didn't really see it. Like we're not really used to seeing like sort of a corrupt element of Starfleet. That's like one thing that you don't really see at least in classic Trek. And OG Trek, you know what I mean? OG Trek and Next Gen Trek, and like the all the nefariousness in the political terms are really like don't have anything to do with Starfleet. It's more so like other factions, other races, the Klingons, they got stuff going on, and then like the Romulans are always up to no good or whatever. But like they're usually keeping their noses pretty clean as far as like on the political spectrum, as far as like how everybody feels. But so I thought it was interesting to have like, here's a villain who is, yes, Khan is the villain, but really it was kind of like Khan was trying to get back at the Admiral, you know what I mean? Like, so kind of, was it RoboCop, right?
Yeah, RoboCop.
Kind of,
I don't know his name.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like RoboCop, I feel like, was really like the real villain, and it was like Khan was just kind of like this other entity, but they had to stop Khan, because like they say in Avengers 2, his vengeance would have rolled over the entire Earth or whatever. But yes, but no, I thought it was cool. It was action packed in a way that I liked. Yeah, maybe it was too soon for Khan. Maybe they could have swapped his name out for something else. But you know what I mean. But whatever, I thought it was cool. I liked it.
So, do you want to go before I go into my long diatribe?
Renee can hate both of us because this is in my honorable mentions list. Like, I couldn't quite squeeze it into my top 5, but it's definitely on one of my favorite. I mean, I love Star Trek. I always have. Especially the the original and Next Gen is my jam. But I didn't mind that it was Khan. I liked the fact that they were saved by a Tribble at the end. Like,
that's right. That's just, right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Frack that movie.
It was fun. I liked it. I definitely agree with CJ. It's a fun action movie. I mean, it's not going to win any awards or anything, but I definitely it's one of the ones we like to watch.
My real issue, and CJ and I talked about this, and after, because we did an episode of Star Trek and Suicide Squad at AKVT, and the real issue I have with that is that they used Khan when he wasn't really earned, and they switched. They did the "You'll always be my friend" scene. I'm like, you didn't earn this yet. In the original Wrath of Khan, they had been together for at least in real world time 20 years. We knew these people for 20 years. They've been around in Starfleet. This has been, 2 years? They haven't earned that yet, That is my only... If there was named anybody else, I would have been fine. But they used freaking Khan. I'm like, no, you don't earn this. You haven't earned to use the right name Khan. That was my only issue with that. If it was anybody else, but yeah. But Benny Cumberbatch, he's no Ricardo Montalban. But he was pretty damn good. And I came back and this is my show. What's up?
Nothing, I was just saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. Yes, it was all right. That's your number. All right.
That's my number 5.
Number 5. All right.
Yeah. So Renee, what's your number 5?
My number 5. It is a Scarlett Johansson movie, and it is called Under the Skin.
Think I'm pretty?
I know, gorgeous.
I have a place about 30 minutes away. Come to me. You don't want to wake up, do you?
It was about this. It's really, it was just one camera, one shot on Scarlett Johansson, who you find out is not from this earth. She's checking down these people, and there's mostly men who she seduces with, and they don't straight up say, but they kind of imply she's giving us these weird promos that you're bringing to the car. She brings them back to her command in her cave, and she brings them into this black fluid, and they kind of just like she devours them to like keep like to survive or whatever. And what really blew my mind about that was it was very little dialogue. It was very very minimalistic production. Like it was just her in a truck in this really weird room. And at the end, you find out that she's trying to get one another man, but he fights back. He's like, "Oh, I want to." He tries to rape her, but she fights back. And then when he pulls her, like he pulls off his skin, and you see her true form. And it's real oily kind of stuff, and it blew my freaking mind. I'm like, what? I haven't seen it since. I saw it again on Netflix, and I watched it on Netflix. I'm like, that's why I love this movie. It's a really really good movie. It's one of my pompous movies from my film school days that I really enjoyed. I highly recommend watching Under the Skin. Yes, that's my number 5. CJ, what is your number 4?
My number 4. My number 4 is Skyfall. I haven't been the biggest like. Well, I'm a big Bond fan, like classically. Like I grew up watching Bond. Grew up like loving those movies, you know what I mean? Loving the gadgets, like loving like, you know, the car, whatever. I mean, he's like a superhero without being a superhero. He's Batman without a mask, you know what I mean? Like I always think like I always actually make that direct correlation. Like I feel like Batman is America's James Bond, you know what I mean? Like, because he's got the gadgets, he's got the car, you know, it's all about, you know, whatever. Anyways, freaking, I love James Bond. I wasn't sold on Daniel Craig as James Bond because I don't really feel like he is, you know, James Bond is kind of like the gentleman spy, and Daniel Craig is fine for the movies that you know, they make for him. But I feel like Daniel Craig loses a lot of the gentlemanness of the spy in James Bond. But anyways, like, that being said, I don't hate his movies, but I haven't typically loved them either. Casino Royale is cool. The second one is all right. I love the song for the second, but I can't remember the name. But Skyfall, though, which also has an awesome song, is awesome. I thought Skyfall was like pretty cool, a pretty cool James Bond movie, period. But definitely the best Daniel Craig James Bond film. It's got cool action. It's got a deeper story than you might think that you would get from a James Bond story. And it also kind of, even though Casino Royale was kind of the origin of James Bond, Skyfall kind of digs a little bit deeper into James Bond's origin. So it's even more of an origin story than Casino Royale was. And so, anyways, yeah, that's my pick. Skyfall.
I have yet to see Skyfall. I've only seen his first movie because I haven't seen any of the new ones, of the new Bond movies. But I've heard nothing but great things about it. Sarah, what do you think?
The bad guy in Skyfall is really what makes it for me. It's Javier Bardem, right? Like that's the the movies kind of blend together in my brain a little bit. But yeah, just the two of them playing off each other was so delightful. Like it was such a great Bond villain interaction, and it's just I don't know. I think Casino Royale might be my favorite Daniel Craig James Bond, but Skyfall is definitely a good one.
All right, what's your number 4, Sarah?
My number 4 is Captain Fantastic. I don't know if you guys would have heard of that.
I've never heard of it. Break it down.
Viggo Mortensen has all these kids that he's raising off the grid. I think he actually got nominated for Academy Award for this role. But yeah, he's raising these kids off the grid and basically turning them into like very smart, self-sufficient, living in the wilderness kids, and the arc of the story is his wife, who was bipolar before the movie starts, has killed herself, and so it's kind of him becoming a dad, and kind of trying to realize that he can't do it on his own, maybe. And I don't know, it was just I just liked it. I remember watching and being like, this is really, it spoke to something in me. It's a good movie.
Freaking idiot.
I am looking up at IMDb, and this cast looks amazing.
Yeah.
I need to check it out. 2016, huh?
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's not like fun or happy, or I mean, there's some fun parts to it, but it's a more serious movie.
I mean, it's Viggo Mortensen to do
Yeah.
comedies. I'm definitely good. It sounds amazing. I'm gonna look where I can watch it. Is it on Netflix? Amazon Prime?
I don't know.
CJ, your thoughts?
Cool. I haven't. Yeah, I hadn't even heard of that. But that does sound cool, and I would be interested in checking that out.
Okay, so did you already go, CJ?
What were we on?
Yeah, he did Skyfall, right? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Renee, we need your number 4.
So my number 4 it came out 10 years ago, and it is with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis, and it is called Black Swan. And because I've been wanting, I remember I saw it and it blew my mind. I love Darren Aronofsky. My favorite Darren Aronofsky movie is The Fountain. And I bought it. I'm like, you know what? I had some money. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this movie. And I sat it down with my family. My baby sister saw it with my mom and dad, and baby sister saw it with me. I'm like, I forgot how freaking awesome this movie is. Have any of you seen it?
I've seen it.
CJ, have you seen it?
Wait, say it one more time. Which one?
Black Swan with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis.
No, I haven't seen Black Swan. No, I haven't.
And it is. And I saw it, and I was watching him. Like, I forgot how amazing of a filmmaker Darren Aronofsky is, because it's about this girl who's pretty much like overstressed and over like paranoid. Like, she's pushing herself to be this awesome, amazing ballet dancer, but she's so technical and by the book kind of. And then Mila Kunis is like more like, you know what, whatever, by the whim of your pants kind of stuff, very whimsical. And they're like, no, she and her director's like, she is sexy. I want to bang her. He doesn't say that word. He goes like, yeah, you're sexy, but I don't want to bang you. And so she's trying to become that character, that Black Swan, and it's a borderline horror movie. Would you agree, Sarah?
Yeah, I would say it's like a psychological thriller.
It's a psychological thriller, and it just like blew my mind. It's like, this is amazing. So I bought it. I'm like, yes, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely last 10 years, for sure. 2010. I recommend you watch. And then for the guys, there's a sex scene with Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman. I'm not going to show you here, but look it up. It's awesome. But it's a good movie overall. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a lot about like life imitating art. Like,
yes,
she's a performer. She's a ballerina, and it's kind of like her transformation into living art.
Like, there's that scene where she sees herself in the mirror, but with the red eyes, and then and then in the reflection she becomes a swan, and she kind of goes crazy, and then she thinks she kills Mila Kunis' character, but she doesn't. You find out that she stabbed herself, and she finally, like, she at the end of the very end of the movie, like, she does everything perfectly, and she gets this standing ovation. People have to, like, they're like in love with her, and then she's bleeding to death. Or pretty much, she's bleeding out to death. It's like, it's a really good movie. It's a really good film. I highly recommend that movie. All right, so that was my number 4. CJ, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Knives Out.
Motherfucker. That's my number 3. All right, so what's your number 3? All right, go ahead.
Knives Out. That Knives Out just came out, this year? Right?
Last year.
I know he didn't commit suicide. So look me in the eye and tell me what happened to my grandfather.
Critics are raving. Knives Out is one of the best movies of the year.
You think one of us killed him?
It's an ingeniously creative murder mystery.
I have eliminated no suspects.
You know something. Spill it.
And hugely satisfying with a modern twist.
No, stay there!
Oh my God.
We gotta do this more often.
Knives Out. Rated PG-13.
Last year. Okay, yeah, last year. Right, yeah. I just saw it. But I actually really liked it. I've always kind of liked the whodunit kind of movie or the kind of thing. It might be why I like to watch Scooby Doo all the time when I was a kid. But it's like that whole whodunit type of movie. You know what I mean? And I like that Knives Out does it in a way does it subverts your expectation. I like the way that Knives Out subverts your expectation. Yep. Because it does it in a way that you don't know that it's doing it to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it presents the information like any whodunit would, and then all of a sudden it's like it throws you for a loop, and you're like, oh crap, okay, so you're already telling me, but it's like it's just setting you up for another freaking twist. And the twist of the movie is not just it's almost like not just a twist for the story. It's kind of a twist on how to do a twist for a whodunit movie, which I think is really cool.
Take notes. Shyamalan,
which I think is really cool, and that's why it's made this list. Not only is it an enjoyable and kind of a fun movie, but it kind of reinvents how to do the genre that it's even attempting.
It's so before. I'm sorry. Did you see it, Sarah? Do you want to talk about it?
I haven't seen it. It's on my list of movies I want to watch. I just haven't had time yet.
So then, no spoiler for Sarah. Cover your ears. I'm just kidding. I've been because I've been working on a whodunit movie script since film school. CJ knows about it, and someone told me you should watch Brick by Ryan Johnson, and I watched that. I'm like, okay, cool. I had an idea. And then I watched. I became a big fan of his. I watched Looper. I watched Brothers Bloom. I'm a big fan of that one. But when I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna steal some ideas from this. I'm like, nope, I can't do this because he just did it like CJ said. He subverted things. He subverted the twist on the twist, and then he gave each character, the main character we follow, he gave us this little nuance that she can't lie, and if she does lie, this happens, and that made me laugh. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. And it's just told really, really well. And like CJ said, it's I'm not a big fan of procedurals, but they tell you who does it, who the killer is, and you're thinking about it, and then you're thinking why she killed it, why this person killed that person. But then the twist is oh, that's already pretty cool. That's really well done. And it's still and sometimes they throw back to some of the old kind of 50s, 60s kind of old movies she said this, but she was really to say this kind of stuff. It's really well done. It's really one of my favorite movies of all time, I think, for now. That's my number 3. So also, well, thank you guys for watching us. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully, if you have any went to us, let us know. Like and subscribe. Frack off.